To your remote reading Unit 3 assessment. Before you guys left school, we had been working on we had finished your revised scenes from Peter Pan, and then we were working on your oral presentation prompt cards. Some of you might be finished with them, some of you may not have even started them, and some of you might have them, but they're incomplete. Now, one thing is for sure though, all of you probably have those prompt cards at school. So you are going to have to use the best of what you remember from the work that you had already done to kind of restart those prompt cards. I have faith in you that it's not going to be that bad because you guys have your revised scenes available to you through your Google Drive. And you guys know Peter Pan inside and out. And we have worked so much on this that I think you guys have got this. But again, we are available for help if you do need that. So you guys might remember the performance task anchor chart. This is where it is telling you what you're going to be graded on for your performance task, which is this unit assessment where you are presenting your revised scene. So that performance task anchor chart says, why and how have you revised your scene from Peter Pan? Now that you have revised a scene from Peter Pan, you're going to prepare an oral presentation in which you read aloud your revised scene and describe to an audience how and why you revised it. You will use prompt cards to help remember what you would like to say. Your presentation will include a read aloud of your revised scene from Peter Pan, an explanation of how you revised the scene with a description of how it is different from the original scene, and an explanation of why you revised the scene. Your end in mind is I can effectively deliver my presentation. Your success criteria is that strong readers can read aloud their revised scene from Peter Pan, can present why and how they revised their scene using their presentation prompt cards. This week, we will finish our presentation prompt cards, present why and how we revised our scenes from Peter Pan, and present our revised scene from Peter Pan. Now, all of these tasks are going to be due at the end of the week. By the end of the week, we should have your presentation. As a reminder, the effective presentation structure is when you introduce the story, have the author and the title, briefly recount the original story, describe the original scene, explain why that scene was chosen to be revised, and explain how that scene was revised. A conclusion, and invites audience to read the original story. For an effective presentation, you are going to use your prompt cards. Do not read from the script. Eye contact with the audience. In this situation, it's going to be with the camera because your audience is going to be watching your video. So you're going to want as much eye contact as you can with the camera. Expressive face and body language, because people are watching you. Make it interesting. Loud enough volume to hear. It is hard to listen to a presentation if it is too low and if you have papers in front of your face and nobody can hear what you're saying. And then speak at a pace that is easy to follow. Too slow, you're going to lose your viewers. Too fast, nobody's going to be able to understand what you're saying. So make sure you have a good pace. Got it? All right, so your first task in completing this assessment is finish your presentation prompt cards. There are some on these slides that I have connected a Pear Deck to, so you could do them on these slides if you would like. There is also a Google Doc that is assigned on this assignment through your Google Classroom. You could do it there too. That's just a preference. You don't need to do both, just one of them.
This came back from a search.
Whoops. Okay, you are going to also use your written revised scene of Peter Pan. That is going to be in your Google Drive. Whatever you titled it, if you were to look that up when you go into your Google Drive, it should come right up. It should also come right up under recent work, or if you just scroll through your Google Docs. So all of you should have access, providing you did do it on Google Drive. Now, so using those two things is how you're going to complete your prompt cards. As an example of your prompt cards, you have this first one. Your first prompt card is going to be introducing the story. This is where you include the title. All of your titles should be Peter Pan, the author, Peter Pan has the same author, right? So it should be J.M. Barrie. And then a brief recount of Peter Pan, a short and sweet summary to sum up the original story. Then your second prompt card is describing the original scene. This is what happened in the original scene of Peter Pan. Do not include your revisions here. If you decided to revise chapter 2, or when Wendy gets shot out of the sky by the Lost Boys, or the fight at the end with Hook against Peter Pan, describe this scene right here. Okay? Describe what happened, any important details you may want to add. Now, on these prompt cards, you really only need bullet points. It does not need to be incomplete sentences, just needs to have enough information that you're going to remember what to say. Your third prompt card is, why did you revise it? Why did you change the scene? What didn't you like about the original scene? So when you wrote your book review and you recommended Peter Pan, but with cautions, what were those cautions? And were those cautions tied to the scene that you revised? So mainly just what you didn't like, why you revised it. And then on the next presentation prompt card, this card is for how did you revise it? This is where you're going to explain what did you change in the scene. And this is where you include all of those revisions that you made. And then your last presentation prompt card is going to be your conclusion. This is where you discuss whether or not you would recommend the book, if you would recommend it with some cautions, would you not recommend it, why. Usually this is also where you're going to invite the reader to read the original story. This is your last presentation prompt card, and this is the last thing you are going to say before you read your revisions. Which brings us to our second task. You're going to present on Flipgrid. The link will be provided in the assignment on your Google Classroom. You're going to read your prompt cards, and then you're going to read your revised scene. For your revised scene, you can dress up, you can use props, you can use funny voices, be creative, make it interesting, okay? Right here, you can see there's a video. This is my example. Now, my example was using the model presentation and the model presentation cards that we went over a bunch in class, which is Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens, where we revised the scene of Solomon Kah and Peter, where he was in the original scene very cruel, and then we revised it so that he was much kinder when Peter realizes he is not a bird. So go ahead and watch this if you would like an example for how your presentation should go. First, your prompt cards, then you're going to read your revised scene. Okay. Then, after you have posted that video, you have one more task. This task is where you're going to comment on classmates' presentations by answering the question, what was the highlight of this presentation for you and why? Make sure to give examples and to be specific in your comments. You should be commenting on at least 3 of your classmates' presentations. In this instance, the Flipgrid is going to have all of 3rd grade. So it doesn't have to be necessarily your class. If you're in Mrs. Lowe's class, you can comment on somebody from Mrs. McDowell's class. But you need to provide feedback and comment for at least 3 videos. Once that is submitted, that is the end of this part of your unit assessment. So good luck. I know you're going to do great. Have fun with this. You guys know so much about Peter Pan already, and we are looking forward to seeing 1, your revised scenes, 2, your presentations, and 3, all of your comments that you're going to have for your classmates. So again, have fun, and I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, it's not stopping.